What's good, YouTube? So recently I watched Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time, and I gave myself some time to let the movie really sink in and gather my thoughts about it. Since the name Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time is kind of a long name to say, I'm just going to refer to it as Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0. Before we discuss the film, let me just lay down the settings and atmosphere real quick. It was a Friday night. I'm on Discord with some homies getting ready to watch Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 on Prime Video. Like, this picture legit described me that night. This was serious, like goddamn, the actual final ending to such a beloved series. The classic that Ano Sensei has blessed us with has finally come to a conclusion. Actually watching a movie and going through the motion, like man, I was not ready, like mentally and emotionally speaking. There were so many scenes and moments where I had to hold back my voice. I feel when you watch something like Evangelion, you gotta be in a certain state. It's been a minute since I watched a series like that and revisited it with 3.0 plus 1.0, and man, it was quite the experience. Before I go into more detail, I just wanted to let you know that there are gonna be major spoilers in this video if you continue watching, so yeah, that's the warning, I guess. But yeah, I just want to say, overall, I'm really happy with the film. Although there are some things where I'm left scratching my head, and other times where I just don't know what's going on at all, it was a pretty positive experience. But now, being for real, seeing Shinji, Asuka, and Rei being back on the main screen was nostalgic. The big three. Diving into the film, seeing the first fight sequence with the Wonder battleship against some interesting looking Eva types was pretty sweet. This was something carried on throughout the rest of the film. Like, all the fights were really well animated and eye-candy to watch. When Shinji, Asuka, and Rei reach to the living settlement that looks like a village, I'm blown away to find out that Toji, Kinsuke, and Hikari were still alive. Like, these men survived the impact and are looking way older now. Toji becoming a doctor and even got his own kid. Like, that shit was crazy to me. I liked how Toji and Kinsuke showed no negativity towards Shinji. Like, they just treated him like they were still boys from back in the school days. There's some real homies trying to help Shinji break out of his shell while still knowing to give him some space at first. Shinji himself is really depressed, man. Like, if I remember, for the first third of the film, he barely talks. He's just keeping to himself while those around him make an effort to try and talk to him and get him out of his current state. I don't know what the number of the Rei clone in Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 is, but it was really nice getting to see her development, if you can call it that even. As she spent much more time in the village interacting with the villagers and, you know, learning more about the world. You'd still check up on Shinji when he isolated himself, giving him food and trying to return his music player. When Kensuke took Shinji out on a car ride to check on a site, Kensuke introduces Ryoji Kaji, who turns out to be Misato's kid. I was like, jeez, damn, Misato actually had a whole kid? That's crazy. Looking at the timelines of the rebuild movies and especially 2.0, it makes sense that she could have given birth at some point. When the Rei clone, or look-alike, whatever you want to call her, turned into LCO, I kind of was already expecting something bad to happen to her. Like, all of the Ayanami clones from the show always get screwed over somehow. But at least Shinji was able to break out of the show. I won't be talking about or referring to every scene in the movie, because otherwise we will be here forever. But the next part I want to mention is during the battle with multiple Nerve Eva units and Asuka. When Asuka removes her eye patch, triggering her Eva to transform into the 9th Eva, I was stunned. I was like, what just happened? Like, did Asuka essentially become an angel herself? The sequence that follows where she meets her original self, I guess, means that the Asuka we see for the majority of Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 is a clone, I guess? So she's like Rei in a way. Now, that was kind of hard to comprehend, to be honest. That's like the second major shocker for me in the movie. Like, I was not expecting that at all. The whole sequence was also visually crazy. Honestly, no words I can use to describe it. I was breathtaking. I ain't gonna lie though, when the fight started happening in the anti-space or minus space, whatever it was called, I was so lost. Like, nothing was making sense, but it was all good. I was there for the beautiful animated scenes. It was one of those things where you just gotta shut off your mind and, you know, enjoy the visuals. Finally, we get to see the OG Akari, Gendo. Finding out that man literally threw away his humanity is something in hindsight I shouldn't really be surprised about, since from past instances, you know, he has shown willing to do anything to be reunited with Shinji's mother. The fight sequence with Shinji and Gendo is probably one of the most bizarre yet entertaining fights I've ever seen in anime. There's so many references shown throwing it back to the OG Eva show. That fight took an unexpected turn when we get to see Gendo's perspective. I was like, hold up. Like, for the first time, we get to see Gendo's thoughts and feelings from a young age. In his youth, keeping to himself and just wanting, to gain knowledge, to seeing how he changed after he met Shinji's mother, and finally seeing how much her passing affected him for real. Just getting to see his perspective on life and way of thinking was really cool. Shinji being able to help Gendo find closure, and Gendo finally reconciling, I guess in a way at least, with Shinji, and sort of, showing regret with how he treated him, was icing on the cake. Man, when we saw her sacrifice herself and went down with the Wonder battleship, I got hella sad. Like, she was always best girl to me, and my favorite character in the entire series. It was nice seeing how she still cared for Shinji and didn't blame him for the third impact. Shinji showing her a picture of him and her kid was also very heartwarming. But yeah, it was pretty emotional knowing she passed away so everyone else could have a better future. A really nice touch with the film was showing how Shinji was able to help Asuka and Kararu find closure as well. Like, it was done really nicely in a short period of time. In the end of the movie, seeing the world without Evas really marked the end of a legendary franchise. Like, it's just crazy to say that it's over. I got a few more thoughts though. Seeing Asuka, Rei, and Kararu at the train station, does that mean that they all get to live in this world as well? Like, I thought they all died, but it's great knowing that those three can still live in this new world, being they all been through so much heartaches and BS. Like, they deserve to live lives in which they can carve out their own features, enjoy it in general without worrying about the Avas and Angels and all that other stuff. Another thing, why and how did adult Shinji end up with Mari? Like, that made no sense to me. No hate to Mari, like, she was a decent supporting character, but it felt like she was always forced into the franchise from the Rebuild movies. Like, I always thought Shinji would somehow end up with Asuka. They both had messed up childhoods and had been through so much together, but I guess it is what it is. Definitely one of the head scratchers of the film for me, though. Like I said before, though, other than the few parts where I don't understand what's going on, the movie had a lot of good things going for it. I know I talked about how some of the fights were really well animated, but throughout the movie, it was consistently high quality and beautiful to watch. Studio Kara made a masterpiece visually speaking. I just want to bring up the music. Like, man, it was on another level. The theme song, One Last Kiss by Hikaru Utada, really stood out to me. Some pieces that I really liked from the OST included Pillars of Faith, Avi Virum Corpus, Yearning for Your Love, Playback, This Is the Dream Beyond Belief, Born Evil, Voyager, the list goes on. We even got certified bangers like Joy to the World. Out of all of them though, I think my favorite gotta be Hooked on the Last Train though. Like, I found myself playing that one so much. I really love the original Ava series music. Like, I got a vinyl of the OST. Now I definitely gotta get a vinyl from the movie eventually, but until then, I'm gonna be bumping it in the whip. All in all, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 is a fitting end to a series I think fondly about. Neon Genesis Evangelion has always been one of my favorite franchises since I got into anime, and it will continue to be. My only wish is that we got to see the film in theaters alongside fellow Eva fans. I cannot imagine what that experience would be like. Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 was truly one of the bright spots of the 2021 summer season and something I'll remember for a long time. I ain't going to cap even, I might have to rewatch this sometime sooner than later to better understand some aspects of the film. But yeah, that's all I really gotta say about the film right now. Let me know your thoughts and feelings about the film in the comments below if you checked it out already. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I'm Kill Lady and I'm out of here.